It's a G life, swerving in a G ride. Who bang, homie, clutching on the 4-5. Don't ever slip, cause you do, boy, that lead flies. Cause at the bottom we stay hunting in that moonlight. You hear the click, you hear the bang when we pass by. This ain't a game fool, the riders really earn stripe. That's on the gang fool, forever on that main line. And it's a thin line, so homie better act right. We keep it active, really active up on this side. You hear the whistle as they're throwing up their gang signs. The crime rate in the hood always stays high. Banging for the vital, trucha for the one time. We stay posted, drinking till the sunrise. We stay posted, drinking till the sunrise. It's that G life, swerving in the G ride. Who bang, homie, clutching on that 4-5. Don't ever slip, cause you do, boy, that lead flies. Cause at the bottom
G-File.
Alright, now starting off right here in South Central, we have a real old school barrio right here. You feel me? Now this barrio right here dates back all the way to the 60s already, so it is an old school neighborhood. You have the barrio Ochentas. Now barrio Ochenta meaning 80th, so that's barrio 80th Street. And you know, because they are located on 80th Street, that's their home dojo, their domain, you feel me? Going at it with the surrounding neighborhoods around there. Now I know some people have thought that this neighborhood had gotten into Florence, or I heard a bunch of other stuff, you know what I mean? But no, the barrio Ochentas are still around. They're still active, they still do their thing, you know what I mean? At one point this neighborhood was like really big, you know what I mean? It was a pretty deep barrio, you feel me? Nowadays it's not as deep as it used to be, obviously, you know, because you know, the whole jam-packed full of different neighborhoods right there. But in their prime, man, them guys were deep as hell, you know what I mean? And giving everybody right there a run for their money, you know what I mean? These guys were not playing, homie. You know, they had a reputation, you know, a pretty good reputation. You know, hence, you know, a lot of them guys got busted, and you already know how shit goes. But nonetheless, even though they're not as large as they once were, you know, they're still a neighborhood that you gotta keep trucha for, you know what I mean? Because the Mochetas ain't playing, you know what I mean? They definitely hold it down right there. They still keep it G, and they still hold it down right there on their block in South Central on 80th Street right there. But that's where you can find them doing the thing, representing and putting their barrio on the map. Shout out to the homie Turtle from Ochentas. That's a firme homie right there, you know, camarada. And shout out to the homie Ratilla from Ochentas. That's another firme homie. And shout out to all the homies from Ochenta that be holding it down. Alright, now here you have the 42nd Street Little Criminals. Not to be confused with the rest of the 40 street neighborhoods, like 40th and 41st, 42nd. They're all their own separate neighborhoods. And I would have to say 42nd Street Little Criminals is probably the largest out of the neighborhoods. You feel me? They're just deep, you know what I mean? It's a neighborhood that you definitely hear about, the 42nd Street Little Criminals. It's also not only located right here in South Central, but also located in different parts of Los Angeles, and I heard in other states as well. You feel me? So these guys do get around, you know what I mean? They're one of these neighborhoods that spread pretty rapidly. Now, the 42nd Street Little Criminals was started in the 80s. Now, this is what I was told. I was told that it was once called Mid-City Little Stoners. I mean, Mid-City Little Criminals. But you know, the youngsters wanted to start their own neighborhood. You know what I mean? Instead of being like a part of the Mid-City Stoners gang, they decided to just you know, pretty much just go solo bolo, like go their own route. You know what I mean? So the LCS, the Mid-City Little Criminals, split off to become their own neighborhood. You know what I mean? Little Criminals, and they landed on 42nd Street, hence where the name comes from, 42nd Street Little Criminals. You know what I mean? And like I said, they were the Mid-City Little Criminals when it was the 70s. So in the 80s is when those homies, you know, which were the youngsters from Mid-City at the time, but they were the originals, the Little Criminals, decided to change the name and just do their own gang, and hence where the 42nd Street Little Criminals was born. And yes, they be holding it down right there on 42nd, putting their barrio on the map. You know, these guys ain't no chumps, ain't no pushovers, and they definitely be representing for their barrio and you know, and kicking it up, homie. These guys are definitely with the business, homie. I got a few homies out of right here. Shout out to the homie Psycho. Shout out to Spooky. You know what I mean? Oh, Ghost. Shout out to Ghost. shout out to all the homies from 42nd Little Criminals that be right there representing it and holding it down for theirs, you feel me? But that's what's up with them. Another neighborhood that you have right here in South Central is the Barrio WHC. It stands for Wicked Hood Criminals. Now, this is one of those neighborhoods where I can't confirm that it's a 1-3. That's what they put. That's what they say. But I just can't confirm that. But they are located right here in South Central on 43rd is actually where you can find this neighborhood. At one point, there was a 43rd neighborhood, 43rd Street, but they kind of just ended up dying out. You know, and I guess, you know, these guys moved in right there, you know what I mean? I know that they were once a tagging crew. They were a tag banging crew, you know what I mean? That was around in the 2000s. And I guess, you know, roughly like about a few years back, they started writing 1-3, or they earned their 1-3. Either way, that's who they are, that's what they put, that's what they represent, and that's what their barrio stands for, you know, for the Wicked Hood Criminals, right here located on 43rd, roughly a more smaller hood, because obviously it's a new hood and stuff like that, and there was once a crew, but nonetheless, homie, you see the activity, you see the hit-ups, so they be doing their thing, homie, but that's what's up with the WHC right there. Another neighborhood that you have right here in South Central is the Barrio Brown Price Sureños, BPS. Now, BPS is a neighborhood that originated out of the San Fernando Valley. They emanate out of the city of Northridge. But they do have members that, you know how the routine works, where homies move and establish neighborhoods in different locations. So here's is what happened right here. You know, homie moved to South Central and established it right there in South Central. Now, they don't have a specific location in South Central. They kind of tend to just roam around. You feel me? And they're a lot more smaller over here, but as a whole, they're a large neighborhood because they're located in just different cities. You feel me? Not just the Valley, but South Central. You have them in Lancaster. You have them in upstate. You know what I mean? Like, you just have them in a bunch of different locations. And I was told that it is the same neighborhood. It is just one whole neighborhood united. So the Brown Price Sureños is a large neighborhood as a whole. And plus, you know, some of the locations don't stay that far away from each other, so they could always back up each other. But right here in South Central, I was told that they're roughly about 20-something members. So a decent size for barely migrating there. You feel me? But yeah, that's what's up with the Brown Price Sureños. They've been holding it down right here since the 2000s and continue to do so and putting their barrio up on the map and representing for theirs. But that's what's up with the Brown Price Sureños right there. Now, another neighborhood that you have here in South Central is a CNE neighborhood. Now, the CNE neighborhood is one of those neighborhoods where I can't confirm if it's a 1-3, but that's what they put, that's what they say. You know what I mean? And the CNE neighborhood stands for cabrones. That's the translation, you know. That's what it stands for. And there used to be a crew that became a neighborhood, you know what I mean? So they've roughly been up since the late 90s, early 2000s, when this neighborhood was established. Well, you know, it started off as a crew and then it became a neighborhood. Now, it's a mixture of two sets, because then you had the SK, which was another street crew, but another part of their neighborhood, and it stands for now Cabrones Street Knights. You know, like knights, you know, like, you know, the ones with the swords and all that. So that's what it stands for, and they are located on 112th Street. Like I said, they are here in South Central, but they also do claim the west of LA. You feel me? But you see a lot of their activities over here in South Central on 112 is where they be located at, doing their thing and representing. Like I said, just because they were a tank crew before, it doesn't mean nothing. And although they may not be that large, you definitely see them up, man, because these guys hit up a gang, homie. So they be keeping it active, right there, representing it and holding it down for their side. You feel me? Now, here we have Barrio Intruders. Now, Barrio Intruders is a gang that's located in South Central and also in West LA. You feel me? It's where you can find the Intruders gang. And the Intruders gang, you know, you see it up as ITS or you see it up as I13. Either way, you know, is how they write it. And their barrio is located on 63rd place, so 63 place is where they're located at. You know, hence why they have clicas like the 63 place locals. They're also on 75th Street, on 35th Street. So that's... I think the other one is Banolo Street. I think is the name of that street. So that area is what they claim as theirs, their territory, their home base, where they be doing their thing. And it's roughly always has been a small neighborhood, has never been large in size, been here since the 80s. But they be representing it and still doing their thing, and they're still active, so they still have members right there representing. I know I got a homie, shout out to Pee Wee, that's a firme camarada right there. And shout out to all the homies from Intruders that be doing their thing representing for their barrio. Another neighborhood located right here in South Central. On Central, you can catch them on 54th. 54th is the, where they claim that's their spot, their location, their dojo, their home base, all of that. You have the KDP neighborhood. Now, the KDP neighborhood used to be a tagging crew that became a neighborhood right here in South Central. Now, the KDP crew stands for Crazy Down Players. You know what I mean? They were a tag banging crew that was roughly around already for a cool minute. You know what I mean? Since the early 90s, is when I was told that it was established. And then they rose up the ranks, to earn their 1-3. You know what I mean? They got their heads, you know what I mean? They're not as large as some of these other hoods, but I would say that they're probably like the largest one of the ones that became like from crew, to neighborhood. You know what I mean? And this players neighborhood is different from the Southside players, so not to get confused. This is Crazy Down Players. You know what I mean? And they be representing right there in South Central. On 54th place is where they be hanging out and doing their thing and keeping it active. You know what I mean? These guys ain't no chumps, ain't no pushovers. You know what I mean? They run in their hood, they got it on lockdown, and they still carry themselves, like that. So that's what's up with the KDP. Shout out to the homie Panic, and shout out to all the homies from KDP that be putting their body up on the map.